maybe there was something else we did, but of all the things we've done on new media, that was the apex of showing the power of one line, one tweet. So this is how, as I see it, as a business person, we have, there's, the Senate 535, but let's just focus on I'm 435th, and I am not a senior member, and I'm not a committee chair. I'm not a personality like a few on our side. I wasn't a Michelle Bachmann. So you knew what that tweet meant. We didn't have to, I wanted to be on record, and that was our flag. This is where that guy stands. And that's when everybody went, whoa! Because I think we're the first one.
Yeah, we were. So I know that in that instance, you use social media to communicate with the world.
It was a disproportionate, it allowed, there's something about the contrarian aspect of it that was if you're paddling downstream with everybody, that just means you're on, but in those rare instances where you have, maybe you could refer to it as either independent or contrarian thought, social media can be a very, very powerful way of communicating that. And I think it's done within this context of staying the herd.
Yeah.
The plea, the call, the impassioned calls for unity are heard consistently. Stick together. And there's value in that, and a whole lot of things. And there are times, I'm always weighing that. Okay, I don't really like this, but you know what? The greater good is to go with the team.
Do you feel like it's, in a lot of ways, it's a two-way street? You communicate with your constituents and with the rest of the nation, and at the same time, this is the American people's way of communicating with you, and in some would say influencing. Do you feel you're influenced more by social media, or do you use it more to influence people?
Let me struggle with it and just say that I'm going to say that it's not a fair question, but it's the comparison of two things so radically different that I'm not even, it'd be like you saying, do you prefer aircraft carriers or ice skating? Right? I'm like, what, in my mind.
Do you think the Hill uses it more to influence, or do you think the Hill is influenced more by it? Maybe.
Okay, now you're gonna, you got a question in the aggregate. In the global. When you say the Hill, see, when I think of the Hill, you say Scott the Hill, I think, gosh, you've got lobbyists, you've got members, okay. You've got staff, you've got the conference, you've got
elected officials, members.
Okay. So, no, absolutely. Now, no question then. If that's the question, are we using it more? Well, it's certainly both. We're influenced by what we're hearing and experiencing in new media. That is, let's look at the practical aspect of it. Comments made on Facebook, retweets or the lack of, pushback. But overwhelmingly, the focus of an elected official is to influence others. I see it as such. And, we are by definition leaders. And leaders, now this is a real profound statement, are to lead. I remember vividly what Dr. Fleming said to me that night. I think I've shared it with you a couple of times. I'm touting the wisdom of the district, and I'm just waiting for him to gush over that. That's good, but our job is to lead our district.
Mm-hmm.
We have information at times that they don't have. We've gone to hearings and experienced things, and that was really. I knew that. I knew it, but he elevated it in my mind of we're to lead our district. And
do you think that? Because I've heard you share that point before, but in your 6 years here, you've also stood out among your colleagues. Do you think that in your discussions with your colleagues that is shared?
No, I don't. That sentiment, that is, that's an opportunity. It's not going to solve everything. And there are some times when Kathy McMorris Rogers would stand in conference and say, now, you need to go home. And, so there was some of that. I'm not saying there's none of it. But the idea that the clarity of that, the clarity of you've got information they don't. You've immersed yourself in this, they haven't. Mm-hmm. You have a duty to go home and instruct to the best of your ability, to teach, to lead to the best of your ability. That aspect is not elevated, and it's kind of just a fuzzy haze. And there's potential there, by the way.
Yeah. Do you think, taking that into consideration, that social media has played any role in the gridlock that we've experienced?
Well, Chris, I got a whole chapter in my book, my little book there, and by the way, I'm still plugging away at it. And one day, when I'm old, I'll give it to you. Yeah. Chris, we've got, by the way, frankly, I wouldn't mind. I'll give you whatever we got. We've done a tremendous amount. Your colleague there and friend, our friend John, has done a lot of research on it. We've got, it's chapter 2. I call it a troubling irony. Better connected, yet more divided. Mm-hmm. We're up and connected is in quotes. Mm-hmm. I'm now communicating with all these people on Facebook, or
right.
I get these really nice posts like feeling sad today.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Biff, my cat of 8 years, died today, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not making. I guess I am making fun of it, but at a general level and assessment, I see, and I think this is a pretty benign view of it. It might not be this benign, but I see it as it's like a knife that's laying on your kitchen table. You can use it to prepare your food. You could pick it up and cut somebody with it. It's like water. You need water, or water's pleasant rain. But if you're in the Atlantic Ocean and you got a life jacket and you just fell off some cruise ship, you're in a heap of trouble. Yeah. Fire, a gun. They're not inherently good or evil. Right. It's the way in which you use them. And one of the things I'm calling for in my book is I don't feel like we've been deliberate in having a sober assessment of how it's affecting our lives. Really to pause and reflect on that. And then B, I don't think the solution for most of us is to say, hey, just give me I don't want any phone at all, or no iPad or whatever. It's not to say, let's try to roll the clock back on technology. First of all, you can't. Yeah, absolutely. But to say, let's let's leverage it. There's potential to leverage it in a much better way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of it is content that could be better prepared, and some of it is, our own choices.
Right, right. There's a concept out there called slacktivism, where in the past, if you wanted to give help the United Way, you would give time or money. But now in the age of social media, if you want to help the United Way, you might like a Facebook post, and then you walk away from your computer feeling like you contributed, when really you haven't, at least not to the extent you would have before social media. And so the United Way is finding that they're getting a lot more buzz, but less people are actually taking concrete steps. Do you see any of that when you look at communication coming to your office and weighing it? Do you weigh a Facebook post differently than an email versus someone who visits you in your office to talk about an issue?
Well, there's no question. It cannot be disputed, in my view, that social media is now and will, going forward, have massive influence. It's you can't overstate it. Many people attributed Barack Obama's, and I'm not an expert in this area of the historical. When I say historical, I mean by the last 20 years, rise of social media and its influence on politics. But those who do it well do better. I think Scott Taylor is a darn good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Painful.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to him. Now this is after I'd won, and he was going into he was talking to me about, Chris, there's a level of knowledge about how to use this stuff. I have a general, hey, we need to do well on this and this and this. But either my willingness or, to go to the next level and to really get into all this micro-targeting and all that stuff, I just don't have I don't have the interest in it. But he does. And, and he's also a good spokesman. I mean, he communicates well.
Yeah.
So he'd get a tremendous amount of attention there. Now, what I've always felt like, and I've said to people, I've never had anybody take me up on it, but I've told them, I said, these business people that would all be in a room, they'd all be complaining about Obama or something. And Scott, I said, I said, if 10 or 15 of y'all, Mark Warner, if you called his chief of staff and with all the backgrounds that you have, as busy as he is, I said, he would meet with you. If you walked in and said, Scott, I don't know what this group is, but it's kind of like the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, group of 20 business people and some of our leaders, and they want to meet with you. They want to know what you're doing to influence it, to advance some type of fiscal solution. Oh, okay. Well, could you imagine me saying no to that? No. I might say no to one individual, especially if 20 of them call me individually, because I couldn't do it. But I think there's a place for personal engagement in the process, and it's still quite effective. I think the personal letter, we elevated the importance of a handwritten letter over a heritage action form email. Sign this petition.
Okay. So overall, and I think I probably would know your answer to this, but overall, the emergence of social media in this body, positive or negative influence?